The rain came down in cold, relentless sheets, blurring the world into streaks of gray. On the side of a quiet, muddy road just outside a small town in Georgia, an old, faded blue sedan sat steaming, its hood popped open like a wound. Standing beside it, soaked and shivering, was a woman in her early 30s. Her name was Lena, and today had already gone from bad to worse. She'd lost her job 2 weeks ago when the cafe she worked at closed down. The job market wasn't kind to single mothers with no college degree and a car barely hanging on to life. Now, with her daughter Mia waiting at home and no money in her wallet, the last thing she needed was a broken-down car in the middle of nowhere. A truck pulled up behind her, headlights cutting through the downpour. The door creaked open, and a man in grease-stained coveralls stepped out, holding a large umbrella. He was in his 50s, stocky, with kind eyes hidden behind thick glasses. "Need some help?" he asked, his southern drawl gentle and calm. Lena hesitated. People didn't just stop and help anymore. Not without wanting something in return. But she had no other choice. "Yes, please. It just started smoking and I don't know anything about engines." The man nodded, took a glance under the hood, and got to work. 20 minutes later, with his hands blackened with oil and tools strewn around, the engine coughed back to life. "It'll hold for now," he said, closing the hood with a thud. "But you're gonna need a new fan belt and a radiator flush, soon." Lena looked down, embarrassed. "Thank you. I can't afford to pay right now. I just lost my job, and I'm trying to keep it together for my daughter." The mechanic looked at her for a long moment. "Name's Joe. Don't worry about it. You just get home safe." "But," she started. "No buts. Just get that little girl of yours a hug and some dinner. That's payment enough for today." Lena's eyes welled up with tears. No one had shown her kindness in weeks. She drove home in silence, the dashboard lights flickering, heart heavy with gratitude and shame. Days passed. Lena tried to find odd jobs, babysitting, cleaning, anything to bring in a few dollars. Every morning, she passed Joe's auto shop, a small, humble building with peeling paint and a crooked sign that read Joe's Honest Repairs. She wanted to thank him again, maybe bring coffee, but life had a way of moving too fast when you were trying to survive. Then one afternoon, everything changed. A sleek black Bentley rolled into town, turning heads as it glided past rusty pickups and weathered storefronts. Out stepped a tall man in a tailored suit, sunglasses reflecting the sun, his posture radiating money and confidence. His name was Daniel Crown, and he was staying at the only decent inn in town for a week while handling a land deal. He had grown up nearby, but hadn't been back in 20 years. Later that evening, the Bentley sputtered and stalled right in front of Joe's shop. "Guess even rich folks can't dodge bad timing," Joe joked as he came out with a rag in hand. Daniel frowned. "The engine's been acting up for days. Can you fix it?" Joe nodded. "I can try." As Joe worked, Daniel took a walk around the small garage, noting the old photos on the walls, the worn benches, the dusty coffee machine. Something about the place felt real in a way his glassy office in Atlanta never did. After an hour, Joe called him over. "She's good to go." Daniel offered his card. "Send me the bill." Joe looked at the card, then back at Daniel. "Your Crown." The Crown family had a house up on Hill Ridge Road. Daniel's expression shifted. "You remember that?" Joe chuckled. "You and your brother used to come by on bikes, messin' with my tools when you were kids. Your mom paid me in homemade pie once." Daniel laughed for the first time in a while. That was her way. Then something shifted. Joe's eyes grew distant. "A few days ago, I helped a young woman. Car broke down, no money, kid at home. She reminded me of your mother, proud, scared, but kind. I didn't charge her either." Daniel tilted his head. "You help a lot of folks like that." "When I can," Joe said simply. "Ain't about money. It's about doing what's right." Daniel stood silent for a long time. He'd built empires, acquired companies, owned penthouses, but nothing he had ever seemed as solid or honorable as this grease-stained man in a crooked garage helping people without expecting a cent. That night, Daniel made a decision. The next morning, Lena got a knock at her door. A woman in a professional blazer handed her an envelope. "This is from Mr. Crown," she said. Inside was a job offer at a new community center he was opening just outside town, admin assistant, benefits, childcare included. There was also a voucher for a full car repair, paid in full by Crown Enterprises. Lena's hands shook. She drove straight to Joe's shop, holding back tears. "I don't understand," she said. Did you tell him?" Joe just smiled and wiped his hands on a towel. "Sometimes, kindness comes back to you. Not always right away, but it does." The story spread across town like wildfire. A mechanic who asked for nothing. A stranger who gave everything. And a woman who found hope when she thought the world had forgotten her. Joe never changed. He still fixed cars, still refused tips from those who couldn't afford it. But people started bringing him meals, painting his sign, cleaning the shop without being asked. Lena grew in her role at the center, eventually becoming its director. Daniel visited every year, sometimes with his family, always stopping by the garage first. And so, in a small town that the world had long ignored, a simple act of kindness lit a fire of goodness that would never burn out. The message? Sometimes the smallest kindness can trigger the biggest change. Not all heroes wear capes, some wear coveralls and carry a wrench.